Morning, guys and gals. Froggy's here. I've got some new front shocks. They're JRI front shocks. I'm going to put them on. I'm going to show you. This is just generic, though. It doesn't matter what kind of shocks they are. This is how to change out front shocks on a C5 Corvette and also C6 Corvette. Very, very similar. I've already got the car jacked up. You guys all know how to do that, or you can look at one of my other videos to see how to do that. I'm just going to point and show you what I'm going to do, and then I'll shoot follow-up videos of how I'm doing it. In my opinion, the easiest way to do this is to take the upper control arm off. The corner is going to come this way, and then I'm going to have plenty of room to get in here and take off this top nut and the two bottom nuts that go right there, and on the new ones the two bottom nuts to the lower control arm and to this upper shock mount, one nut on the pin top, and reverse the whole thing. Now, you're saying, isn't that going to screw up my alignment? No, it's not, because you're going to keep the same number of shims if you have shims in there, and you're just going to take it off and put it back. So it's not going to change your alignment at all. Okay, as long unless you mess up the shims. Then you mess up the shims, it will. So let's get started. I'll pick it up as I go along. Okay, I've already got those two off. I'm using my air gun. You can also do this without air tools. Just say it's a 17 millimeter nut. Now, I think that this is a aftermarket kit here. You might have a different arrangement on your Corvette. It might be a bolt that goes in there. I'm trying to think back. I've had this set up for about 4 or 5 years. But if you have a bolt that goes in, it might be a different size head on the bolt. So don't worry about it. It just comes off. We do the shock and it goes back on. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. This might be a little bit different.
Anyway, Albert, I appreciate the call. Let me move on. Who's next? Thirdly, where are we going next?
Whoops, I thought that was okay. I've got all 4 nuts off, and as you can see, the control arm goes totally out of the way. We've got a nice clean shot at the shock. Also, I want to show you, I put a bottle jack underneath the lower control arm just because I didn't know how far down it was going to go, and if you set this height on the lower control arm, which is being tensioned by the spring is putting tension on it. If you set that just right, these will slide off really easy. And also, if you have the original equipment arrangement, when you go to put those bolts back in, I think they're bolts, you need to align these holes very carefully. You don't want to strip these out. If you strip these out, you're going to have to run a die through there and fix them. So you want to be very careful when you're going in and out of these, the frame here. But I just wanted to show you that. Put a bottle jack underneath the whole corner. Now look at it, just total access to that shock. I'm going to start taking the shock off. Back in a minute. I'm going to take the top nut on the pin off first. Let me show you the tools that I'm using. Sorry for the shake. Alright, this is a gear wrench. I love this tool. I don't use it that much, but when you need to use it, you can't get a regular socket in there. There's not enough room. This just goes in there. It's a 14 millimeter. Yours might be different. Lefty-loosey, flip it over, righty-tighty, and it's got a regular open-end wrench on the other end. So that's for the nut. let's see, that way. And to hold the shock, I've got a strap wrench on there. I've already got it loose, so let me take the strap wrench off and I'll show it to you. I can just hold it with my hand. There. Okay? You guys and gals know what a strap wrench is, right? This one is Craftsman. Again, it's a tool I don't use very often, but when I do, I don't want to put some vice grips or channel locks on here and scratch the shock. So that's why I'm using the strap wrench. Okay? The bottom T, I call it a T-bar connection, is 13 millimeter. It's a nut and a bolt. And to get at the bottom nut, you're going to need a deep socket, deep thin wall socket to get up in the hole. Let me show you. Right there. Whoop, right there. There's a hole in the lower control arm, and you have to get a deep socket up in there. And then on the top, I just use my gear wrench again. So, what did I say? 13 millimeter. So now it's off. It's loose, so I can take it out. Let's go a little that way, a little that way. There you go. Pretty easy, right? Really, pretty easy. Okay. Froggy's got his scale set up, and I'm going to give you some weights on the shocks. I've got 3 sets of shocks here. I've already done it. I'll show you the scale anyway. Original equipment, 3.6 pounds. The FOT ones that I just took off, 3.9 pounds. JRI is going on 3.4 pounds. So let me just show you. Okay, we're zeroed out. There's 3.6 for the original.
Palin is a great example. How much media piling on was there on Palin?
I gotta reset. Sorry about that camera work. This is the FOT. Oh, I got 4.0 that time. I got 3.9. Yeah, we'll call it 4.0, I guess. And let's reset. This is the JRI. 3.4. Okay, just a little extra for you. I'll show you the heights too. Okay. Looks like to me we got about a 19 and 19 and an eighth in the middle. 19 and a quarter maybe on the left for the FOT, and about 18 on the right. So an 18, a 19, and a 19 and a quarter for a FOT. Give or take, this ballpark. Back on the left front, this is what I did. What I suggest is get your upper control arm, just catch a few threads just to get it in the right place. You haven't put your shims back in yet. Do that later on. You got plenty of room to put the shims back in there, but put your upper control arm. Then the top of the shock is already done. Original equipment, rubber bushings here. And just tighten this up until the bushings squish just a little bit. You don't have to over tighten this. Don't crank it down like crazy. I used a nylock. You know what a nylock is. It's got a piece of nylon in there. It locks the nut on so it can't go anywhere. Anyway, the top goes first. Catch your upper control arm. Now on the bottom, let me just shift around here. On the bottom, you've got to use your bottle jack, and you got to take the lower control arm and jack it back up. The spring is pushing it down. Jack it back up to line up your two nuts and bolts. It's a nut and bolt. Remember, I showed you when I took it off, and you should be able to push it up that way far enough so that they drop right in, and then catch your nut underneath here on both sides, and then it's almost there, and then just tighten it up a little bit. So let me finish that up, and then I'll talk to you some more. Okay, I would torque these upper control arm bolts. It's 48 foot-pounds, and that's it. Tight. The two on the bottom are tight, and that's about the end of it. I'm not going to show you putting the wheel back on or letting the car down. So that's a front shock absorber. Take it out, put it back in, put a new one in, good to go. I hope you enjoyed this time with Froggy. I like doing these videos for you guys and gals. If you want more, subscribe to my channel and give me a like or a thumbs up, and we'll see you later, unless I think of one more little thing to add. Okay? Froggy out. Bye-bye.